What's up, guys? Here for the Week 14 review. Was the first week of the playoffs. To start, I will start with the consolation bracket. I won't spend too much time on this as it's really not that important except for draft picks are concerned. First matchup we have Joseph versus Derek. Joseph won this one. It was 107 to 92. Looks like Joseph had nice games out of Mahomes and Jared Cook. Decent score out of his defense, 11. His kicker with 12. Had Kenny Stills on the bench with 24. Elijah McGuire with 16. Everybody else did pretty all right in his lineup. His duds were Gabriel and Anunwa. Both had 3.7. You'd expect a little better there. Chris Thompson had 5.3. But all in all, 107 is not a horrible score. Looking over here at Derek's team, Jared Goff with negative .3. Obviously, he's been struggling as of late. Obviously, had a very tough matchup versus the Bears. Lamar Miller with 14. Juju had 29, an amazing toe tap touchdown catch in that game. Rams defense got him 12. Nothing going on his bench. 1.8 out of Godwin. Was really his dud in his lineup. Maybe 5.7 out of Michelle. You might expect a little more there, but everybody else is probably pretty well on par with what you'd expect outside of obviously Goff. Next up, we have Brian Jr., which is Philip versus Brian. Brian Jr. won this one 99 to 75. So a decent victory there. Looking at Philip's team, Watson with 18. Keenan Allen had 16. Jeffrey had 14. Kenyon Drake had 14. And I'm sure most of us have seen the Miami Miracle where he scored the game-winning touchdown on the last play of the game. Kicker got him 10. Nothing going on his bench. McCoy gave him 0.1. He got hurt in that game. Graham with 2.3. Some struggles there out of those guys. Everybody else is pretty much on par with what you'd expect. Brian's team, Tom Brady had a big day this week, 27. Hilton had 24. And nothing else. Didn't play a kicker. Jordan Reed, I'm not sure if he played in that game. And it looks like he got 0 here. So Reed was playing in the game, but he got hurt in the game and didn't score any points. Sutton with 2.3, Crowell 1.2, Fournette 5.1, Galladay 1.5. I mean, that's you're never gonna win when you're getting a lot of low scores like that. So Brian went back to a little back to normal there with this tough loss. Next we got wow, this matchup was close as shit between Steven and Dalton. Steven won this one 79.1 to 78.1, so the battle of the low scores, won by a whole point. Aaron Jones for Steven, 18. Josh Gordon at 12. Not anything else going on. Clearly, Steven has probably given up as well. He played Matt Breida, who I'm pretty sure was ruled out of that game because I know he didn't play. Had 0. I click on him here. Yeah, he was ruled out of the game the whole fucking week. So clearly, Steven doesn't give a shit. Don't think he plans on coming back, so he doesn't really care about the draft position either. But his team still got the win, so the same thing will work like it did this year. Whatever teams we had to replace, those guys will just go into a lottery and we'll draft for their draft position. So somebody may get lucky. Looking over here at Dalton's team, Kamara had 13. Packers defense with 12, and just really nothing else. I mean, a lot of single-digit scores on his team. That'll lead to 78 points. Had Lamar Jackson on the bench who had 19, so he could have got more points there. John Brown could have got him more points. Ingram could have got him more points. Played any of those guys, he would have got the victory, but that's how it goes sometimes. I would talk about my matchup and Garrett's matchup, as we both won, but we didn't play anybody. Obviously, we had bye weeks. I want to say, let's look here. Garrett's team would have scored 103, so he would have lost to all the playoff teams except Josh. My team scored 130. Pretty good score. I also would have lost to all the playoff teams beside Josh. So just goes to show that having that first round bye is very crucial. So hopefully it pays off for one, if not both of us. I'll talk about the first playoff matchup here. We had Chad versus Josh. This was not a close game. Chad just took his truck. If he has a truck, I don't know. Never met Chad. I definitely haven't met him. Probably has a truck, maybe. Backed that thing up, kept going back and forth over Josh. Rode the shit out of him. Looking at his team, he had 147. Pretty nice score. Andrew Luck with 24. Elliott with 25. Jeff Wilson, the running back for the Niners, for those of you who may not know, had 10. Michael Thomas with 15. Diggs with 10. George Kittle with 31. He had that huge first half where he had like 200 yards receiving and a couple touchdowns in the first half. Let's look here. Oh, he had a touchdown, but he had 200 yards receiving, I think, in the first half. Bears defense with 19, big game out of his guys there. Zay Jones with 3, Kicker with 3. I mean, really, maybe the only duds in his lineup. Nothing to speak of on his bench, so he made some really good coaching decisions for his first round matchup. Looking over here at Josh's team, he has really shit the bed come the end of the season, which that's why I never had his team ranked very high, knowing that he had James White, who was really carrying his team for a while. With Michelle was out, when Michelle came back, now Burkhead's back, his role is going to get diminished. Joe Mixon is, on a horrible team, so they're always playing from behind. That doesn't help his situation. Adrian Peterson, if the Redskins can play from ahead, he's good. He'll get a lot of carries when they're behind. He's not in the game that much. They've had a ton of injuries, 2 quarterbacks, broken legs. Offensive line is in shambles. You just know he's not going to be much. I mean, and he doesn't really have much else to speak of. I mean, Brandon Cooks has been rough recently. It's just how it goes. Looking at his team, he had Brees with 14. Mixon did have 22. Cameron Brate had 14. Jets defense with 10. He got a 0 out of Traquan Smith. 3.7 out of Cooks, 3.8 out of James White, 2.4 out of Peterson. I mean, it's just really, when those guys aren't really producing what you would expect or even what they're projected, that'll definitely hurt your team there. Nothing really on his bench that would have helped. I mean, he got beat really bad. He could have got maybe a couple more points here or there, throwing Dante Moncrief in there, but not much. Wasn't necessarily a coaching decision for him. It was, he just has some play. All the players on his team probably need to be rostered in our league, but it's very, very tough, when they don't perform. So, Josh and the loser of our next matchup will play each other in the next round. They're in the constellation of the winner's bracket at this point. So going to the matchup of the week, the 2 highest scoring teams. The matchup came down to the last game on Monday night. I believe it came down to the last 2 minutes of the game. Dakota pulled off the miracle. The pass from Kirk Cousins to Dalvin Cook. Double points on the touchdown. Gave him the win. 155.8 to 154.9. A win by 0.9 to move on to the second round of the playoffs. That is some fantasy drama for you. I went to bed probably halfway through the third quarter. And I was like, yep, Orlando's got this shit in the bag. And I woke up and was like, what the fuck? Usually I wake up, I immediately go to the ESPN app to see the box score, the game cast, see who scored. And as soon as I saw Cousins threw it to Dalvin Cook, I said, oh shit, this matchup is probably really close. And then I checked and, wow, I was surprised. Let's start with Orlando's team here. He got 20 out of Aaron Rodgers. He got 28 out of Barkley. He got 45 out of Amari Cooper. It's crazy. He got 16 out of Eckler, 17 out of his kicker. I mean, some huge games out of some of his guys. He got 4.5 out of Justin Jackson. That's where I think the coaching decision was poor on his part. I don't understand playing both Chargers running backs. I understand they both had some upside. I personally would have played Eckler because I just think he just had a tough matchup the week before, and figured he'd be fine. I just don't see playing two running backs on the same team. Especially those two guys. I could see if it was like, if you had Ingram and Kamara, although they haven't been killing it either, but you have to have, I feel like, two pretty elite guys, and that's just not those guys. Honestly, he could have played Lewis or Mack. Either one would have given him enough points to score. Not sure I would have played Dion Lewis given his matchup with Jacksonville. With Mack being healthy, I likely would have rolled with Mack over Jackson, in my opinion. That would have obviously given him the win there. So just tough decision there. Hurt him. I mean, Antonio Brown getting him 6 points against Oakland is fucking shit, in my opinion. You definitely expect more than that. Obviously, Juju Smith-Schuster was eaten on Sunday. He could have played Ian Thomas over Vance McDonald at tight end. He would have obviously got enough points there to get the win as well. I mean, that's a toss-up in my opinion. I mean, it could have gone either way there. I don't know where they were ranked. I don't know the matchup stats and all that stuff, but I'm not going to harp on that as I don't really know. If we look over here at Dakota's team, Cousins got him 11, McCaffrey with 25, Jalen Samuels 13, Hopkins with 12, Tyreek Hill with 19, Julio Jones with 27, Gronk with 21, Dalvin Cook with 17. I mean, he just killed it. I mean, he had could have got more points if you would have played Wentz over Cousins. That's about it. I mean, Howard had 11, but he got the most points out of his running backs he could have got. So he made a good coaching decision there, benching Howard in place of Samuels and Cook. Obviously, you're not benching McCaffrey. Even there's an opportunity to play Blunt. He had a really nice matchup and did not pull through there for the Broncos. I mean the Lions. So Dakota moves on. So the second round matchups will be myself versus Dakota and Garrett versus Chad. It'll be 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. It's obviously panning out the way the way it should. Let's see. We look at the projections for the two big matchups. Looks like I am projected to win by 14, and it looks like Chad is projected to win by 5. Shows my team getting 145 for points pretty much, or actually 144. Shows Dakota getting 131. In Garrett's matchup, it's got him at 118 and Chad at 123. Just going to preview the matchups here real quick. I'll just base it off of the guys that are in the starting lineups currently. I just had to take out Melvin Gordon because I don't think he's going to play. Quarterback, I got Matt Ryan. Right now, Dakota has Kirk Cousins in there. Both have fucking cake matchups pretty much. Ryan playing the Cardinals, Cousins playing the Dolphins, so that could go either way. At running back, he has McCaffrey, Jordan Howard, and Dalvin Cook. McCaffrey has a tough matchup versus the Saints as they are pretty good against the running back, but because he plays nearly every down, he catches balls, runs the ball. I mean, he's like automatic 20 points. I mean, there's no stopping that guy. I mean, he's pretty amazing, to be honest. Jordan Howard versus the Packers. You never know how that could go. He's, in my opinion, he's a touchdown or bust kind of player, so we'll see how that goes for him. Dalvin Cook versus Miami. It seems like they like to play Dalvin Cook a lot. I don't know anything about Miami's run defense, but I just don't think they're that great of a team, so he should probably be able to have a good game. I have Nick Chubb versus Denver. Denver's defense is pretty solid against the run, I believe, but they're playing him a ton, so I don't really worry about it there. Right now, I have Spencer Ware in there versus the Chargers. If Melvin Gordon plays, I'll put him in, of course. But I believe I'll probably play Ware over Chris Carson, but I'll have to do some research into that. But This matchup versus the Chargers, I don't know if their run defense is good. I know their overall defense is pretty solid. But he got plenty of work this past week, so if I have to roll with him, I'll roll with him. Obviously, Todd Gurley versus the Eagles. I am not not too concerned about Gurley. I know he's coming off a bad week, but I believe the Rams will get things back on track and he'll take care of business. He's got Dakota with Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, Julio Jones at receiver. Hopkins versus the Jets. They are fucking horrible, so he'll probably kill it this week. Tyreek Hill versus the Chargers. Chargers have a pretty decent defense, and I know Hill is hurt as well. I expect them to be held in check. Julio versus the Cardinals. Cardinals defense is not very good. They're not playing for anything, but he will likely be shadowed by Patrick Peterson. So I believe if Matt Ryan wants to challenge Peterson, Julio can be fine, but Matt Ryan may be, sometimes he's one of those guys that'll just shy away from that and just, look for Sanu, Hooper, Coleman, and Ridley instead. So, obviously you can't bench Julio Jones, but, you just never know how that's going to pan out. On the other side, I have Adams, Thielen, and Edelman. I have Adams for Chicago, one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best. He'll obviously get peppered with targets. He should be fine. Really, I don't think he'll have a ton as far as maybe catches and yardage goes, so I need him to get into the end zone. Thielen's been struggling a little bit recently, but he's got a nice matchup versus the Dolphins, so he should be fine. Julian Edelman versus Pittsburgh. He's almost a guaranteed double-digit points every week, and that's all I really expect out of him. If he can get in the end zone, I would greatly appreciate it. At tight end, he's got Gronk. I have Ebron. I'm not really sure how the Steelers are against the tight end, but Gronk's been playing better lately, so he'll probably be fine. Ebron versus Dallas. Dallas is, obviously, I'm a fan, but I think our defense is very solid. Obviously, Andrew Luck is a stud quarterback. Ebron's probably going to need to get into the end zone to hit decent point value. I don't see him getting enough yardage or catches to do it. Defense, he's got Chargers versus the Chiefs. It's risky given the Chiefs' offense, but obviously the Chargers have a very good defense as well, so we'll see. I have Ravens versus Tampa Bay. I am not concerned at all. The Ravens should beat the shit out of them. Kickers, it's whatever. They're kickers. Hopefully one doesn't kill it and the other one sucks, but because that could be a big difference maker there. And then let's preview the other matchup. We have Chad versus Garrett. Quarterbacks, we got Luck versus Roethlisberger currently. Obviously, Roethlisberger would have to play. I know he's hurt, but he's got a decent matchup versus the Patriots, whose defense is okay. Not great, but not horrible. Andrew Luck versus Dallas. Tough matchup for Luck, but, besides that game versus Jacksonville, Luck has been, pretty much matchup proof. Running backs, we have Elliott. Right now, he has Jeff Wilson in the game and Gus Edwards. Obviously, there's a chance, I'm assuming there's a chance Breida could play this week for the Niners. So I'm not really sure where he would pivot there if that is the case. But Elliott versus Indianapolis, obviously not going to have a problem. Wilson versus the Seahawks. Seahawks defense is really playing well. They're playing very good as a team. So, even if Wilson does play, I don't expect a lot out of him. Gus Edwards versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's defense isn't very good. Obviously, he's the kind of guy who really needs to get a touchdown, or get like 20 carries to really be able to produce. So we'll see how that goes. On the other side, we got David Johnson versus Atlanta. Atlanta's defense is nothing, so David Johnson should be able to do a decent game if they can get him the ball. It's got Frank Gore versus Minnesota. Frank Gore has just really not done much recently. He's super old. Minnesota's defense is pretty decent. Obviously, they were run all over last night by the Seahawks, but normally they're pretty solid. And he has Kerryon Johnson. If Kerryon Johnson plays this week, that would be huge for Garrett. They're playing the Bills. The Bills' defense is pretty decent. They're all right. But Kerryon Johnson is special, and he's been out so long. If he's healthy, that could be a pretty nice boost for his team there. Receivers, we got Michael Thomas, Stephon Diggs, Zay Jones. Michael Thomas versus the Panthers. He could probably go off and have a 20-point game. Diggs versus the Dolphins. She should be able to have a pretty decent game. Zay Jones versus Detroit. He may have Darius Slay on him, and that could really hold him in check. Looking at Garrett's side, Jarvis Landry has fucking killed it the past 2 weeks after sucking all season. Plays the Broncos. The Broncos don't have Chris Harris anymore. He's out. He's on injury reserve, I believe. So Landry, it's tough to see him having 3 massive weeks in a row, but he definitely has the matchup to do it. D.D. Westbrook versus Washington. Washington's not really much, but you can't trust any Jacksonville receiver, in my opinion. Curtis Samuel versus the Saints. If Cam can actually play like the quarterback everybody knows he can be, Samuel can have a nice day. Tight ends, we have George Kittle versus the Seahawks. We have Travis Kelce versus the Chargers. Both are elite tight ends. You play either one. You don't care about the matchup. Both of them should be fine. We have Bears versus Green Bay. The Bears defense is playing great. Obviously, playing Aaron Rodgers, that can really go either way. Aaron Rodgers was able to have a nice game the first week of the season, but we'll see. I expect the Bears to do decent, although Aaron Rodgers hasn't thrown an interception in like 356 passes or something. Texans versus the Jets. You got to really like that matchup. There's a chance Sam Darnold might play this week, but honestly, I don't think it matters. Texans defense is pretty solid, and Jets just really don't have much. Obviously, both of them have kickers, and like I said, I don't really care about kickers, but it could be the determining factor in any matchup. That is basically all I got. Best of luck to everybody. We only got a couple weeks left here. If you guys have any questions about seeding for draft picks or whatever, let me know. At the end of the season, I'll have a wrap-up video. I'll, put a draft order out there so everybody knows where they're picking for those that are going to be returning. We'll make those decisions in the off-season. When the season gets close, I'll reach out to everybody on the group chat. And, let everybody know about rule changes that we can talk about, maybe having a league board, just to discuss, rules, trade evaluations, whatever it may be, whatever is going to be best for the league, we can go with. All right, man, best luck to everybody, and fuck you, Dakota. You going down this week.